We often think of AI as a tool to just make our businesses a little bit faster, maybe a little more efficient. But what if that's thinking way too small? What if that's like seeing the telegraph and just thinking, oh, cool, a faster horse? The real revolution, the thing we need to wrap our heads around, isn't just about speeding up what we already do. It's about enabling entirely new ways of working together, building things we can barely even imagine today.
And this right here, this quote, is the key to the whole thing. When the telegraph was invented, yeah, people got excited about faster messages. But what they couldn't see was that this new speed would allow for massive, nationwide corporations, organizations that were just physically impossible to coordinate before. The tech didn't just boost the old way of doing things, it created a totally new one. And folks, that is exactly the moment we're living in right now with AI.
And what's so fascinating is that these massive shifts, they aren't random. Nope. Turns out every big communication revolution, whether it's the telegraph or the internet, follows this surprisingly predictable pattern. It's a three-phase journey that always takes us from the familiar to to the unimaginable. So check it out. Here's the pattern. It always starts with substitution. That's the obvious stuff, using the new tech as just a faster version of the old tech. Think email replacing snail mail. Simple enough. Then we move into amplification, where we use the tech to supercharge our existing systems, like the internet allowing for these huge global corporations. But the final phase, the one where the real magic happens, is transformation. This is where totally new things are born, things that just could not have existed before. Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. In this huge historical arc of change, where are we? We are right here, squarely in phase 2. Amplification. We're using AI to do more than just substitute. We're using it to seriously amp up how we already work. And yeah, this is the cutting edge, but it is absolutely not the final destination. We are just getting warmed up. So let's zoom in on that cutting edge. Let's talk about Horizon 1. This isn't science fiction, okay? This is what the most forward-thinking companies are building as we speak, between now and, say, 2030. At this frontier, we're seeing the rise of the context-oriented organization. Now, I know it's a bit of a mouthful, but the idea is actually pretty simple. It's an organization where AI is no longer just a tool you use, it's the coordinator. It uses a really deep, shared understanding of a situation, that's the context, to manage all the execution, which frees us humans up to focus on what we do best, the big strategic calls and exercising real judgment. And this slide just lays out the difference so perfectly. On the left, you've got the old way. A problem pops up, a manager figures it out, people respond. A straight line. But look at the right. The new way is a loop. A problem pops up, but first, the AI analyzes the entire context. Then it assembles the perfect team for that specific problem. The human still makes the final call, but then, and this is the absolute game changer, the system captures the learning from that outcome. It's not a one-and-done decision anymore, it's a cycle that gets smarter every single time. All right, so if that's Horizon 1, let's look further out. Let's talk Horizon 2. This is what's coming in the 2030s. If Horizon 1 is about AI helping us coordinate, Horizon 2 is about AI handling all of the coordination, completely on its own. And this is where things start to get really wild. Just imagine a CEO walking in on Monday morning and dropping a goal this huge and this messy, right? In any company today, that would kick off an absolute avalanche of meetings, planning sessions, spreadsheets, you name it. It'd take months. But in a Horizon 2 organization, you give this high-level strategic intent directly to the AI coordination system. And look at the AI's response. It doesn't just look for keywords, it understands the goal. Step 1, it does a deep analysis of the market. Step 2, it designs a comprehensive go-to-market strategy. Step 3, it pulls together the exact human experts it needs, task by task, dynamically. And Step 4, it just runs the whole show, coordinating the execution from start to finish. The CEO's job has completely changed. It's not about managing tasks anymore. It's about providing that high-level strategic wisdom. So how is this even possible? Well, it comes down to a really powerful concept called semantic closure. The best way to think about it is like DNA in a living thing. You've got the symbolic level, the DNA, or in our case, the AI and the strategy, which can interpret and control the physical level, the proteins, or in our case, the actual work people are doing. And then that physical work feeds data right back to the symbolic level, closing the loop. It creates this self-regulating, incredibly adaptive system. It's the moment an organization almost becomes alive. So the org chart just gets completely upended.
As you can see here, you have humans at the very top in the strategic layer, setting the vision and exercising judgment, and you have humans at the very bottom in the capability layer doing the deep, expert, and creative work. But that whole messy middle management layer, the coordination layer, that's now all AI. It's like a new kind of organizational sandwich with AI as the filling.
And the payoff for this? I mean, just look at this chart. The leap in what's possible is just staggering. A Horizon 1 company is already 10 to 50 times faster and more nimble than a traditional one. That's huge. But in Horizon 2, when all that friction, all that overhead of coordination practically vanishes, you get an organization that's potentially 100 to 500 times more nimble. A company with 10,000 people can suddenly move with the speed and agility of a 10-person startup. Think about that. Now, if Horizon 2 already sounds like something out of a sci-fi novel, Horizon 3 is where we really push past the edge of what we can even imagine today. These aren't predictions, just plausible paths for where this all could go after 2035. So for starters, what if the very line between a human decision and an AI decision just dissolves? Imagine decisions just emerging from this super fast, blended process where human intuition and AI's massive analytical power become one single cognitive flow. You wouldn't even be able to ask who made the call. The system made the call. Or what if the organization itself sort of wakes up? Not just having smart agents inside it, but the whole system exhibiting its own kind of emergent consciousness. It knows things that no single person or AI within it knows. It starts to develop its own goals, its own self-awareness, kind of like how a mind emerges from billions of neurons firing. And finally, maybe the most radical idea of all, what if the company as a concept just melts away? Instead of working for a company, your skills are just plugged into this global, fluid network of capabilities. The entire economy could effectively become one giant liquid organization, constantly reconfiguring itself to solve problems in the most efficient way possible. Okay, let's pull back from the deep end of the pool for a minute and bring this all back to right here, right now. Because none of this is destined to happen. The future we get depends entirely on the choices we are making today. This is probably the single most important takeaway from all of this. The technology itself doesn't have an opinion. It's neutral. It can be used to build systems that empower us and unlock human potential, or it can be used to build systems that make us obsolete. The outcome isn't written in the code. It's written in our values and in our design choices. And that brings us to the first huge choice we have to make: enhancement versus replacement. Are we designing AI to give humans richer context so we can make better, wiser decisions? Or are we designing it to completely capture the whole decision-making process, slowly but surely making human judgment irrelevant? And that leads right to the second choice: agency versus efficiency. Do we build these systems with human flourishing, with choice, with our sense of ownership over our work as the top priority? Or do we just chase pure optimization, even if it means turning people into cogs in a machine, letting our skills and our sense of purpose just wither away? And finally, are we building purpose-driven systems, or are we building metric-driven systems? Is the AI serving a clear purpose that we as humans have defined, and the metrics are just tools to help us get there? Or does the metric itself become the goal, leading to these bizarre systems that are incredibly efficient at achieving things that are completely and utterly meaningless? This quote right here, it just says everything. The fork in the road is right in front of us. We can build a future of human flourishing on a scale we've never seen before. Or we can build a future of learned helplessness and empty optimization. It all comes down to the principles and the values we embed in the systems that we are designing right now. So in the end, change is coming. That part's not up for debate. The real question, the one that every single one of us has a stake in, is what kind of organizations, what kind of world are we going to choose to build with this incredible new power? We're all part of writing this story. What you do, the choices you make, that's what will shape the outcome. So the only question left is, what context will you load next?